Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to topic 7. In this topic, we're going to be designing a basic chair and we're going to be using all these different tools from the follow me, the pull and push, the move, the draw commands and everything to actually go ahead and create this chair. So let's get straight to it and see how do we do this. Now, remember before we start building the chair, we are designing everything in the entire course in 1:1 scale. So whatever will be the measurements here will be the actual measurements what they will be used for actually creating them. So let's get straight to this. Now to build this chair, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the circle tool over here and making sure that the sides are 99, enter. I'm going to be making a circle with radius 0.225. Once I've created this 0.225 circle radius, I'll be giving it a pull of 0.02. As you guys can see, I've created this circle with a thickness of 0.02. I will select the line command and come on the circumference over here. Now I'll draw a radial line as such from the circumference to the center. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to make this whole thing into a group. Now don't forget to make things into groups and components as and when we do it, because these would actually be helping you guys a lot to function very well and to make clean models, as I've told you guys before. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select a circle over here and I'm just going to create a circle of, let's say, 0.03. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to select the offset tool and I'm going to take an offset inside of 0.01. Now you guys can see how I've kind of just taken an offset of 0.01, and I will do a left to right selection over it. So remember, right to left would select everything, so we'll do a left to right selection only so that it selects the circle. Now you'll understand how these things are helping us the more we move forward. So I will do right click and make into a component over here, and I can just call this component leg. Now once I'm done with this, the next thing what I'm going to do is I'll select the rotate command and I'll make sure I'm setting the center of the circle as the axis, and I will select this circle by pressing Ctrl. I will copy this circle 90 degrees and then I will just do *3, enter. So it kind of copies it and arrays it along this entire curve. So you'll now be seeing how we're amalgamating all the movements, all the uses to actually create what we want. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter into this component and I'm going to select the move command. And now without actually coming on any of these portions, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the select command to select the surface, then use the move command and just come over here anywhere on the surface and start to move this, but in the up arrow key. So you will see how kind of I'm pulling this in the up direction so that we can get these kind of sloping legs, right? And now I will give this a height of 0.75. So a little long as such. These are basically going to be our legs for this chair. And you can see if I double click and enter into this and I just select the surface and I press scale, so I'll get a scale just on top over here. Now I can actually hold Control and scale these inside to make them thinner also and larger. So when you make them thinner, they will become more stylish, more slender, as you guys can see. So it's very easy to actually create such kind of basic details for your chair or for anything that you're really creating in SketchUp. You just need to have a little bit knowledge about what happens when you use or when you do a certain particular thing in SketchUp. Now the next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into one full group, right? And we need to flip it along, obviously, because the legs are now facing up, they need to be facing down. So right click and flip along the blue direction. So I'll come to green and red and what they do afterwards, but for now we'll just flip this along the blue direction and you'll see how nice this chair is looking. It's a very simple chair, but it has these nice legs, so it's looking much better. Now once you all have reached till here, what we're going to do is we're going to be creating the backrest of this chair. Alright, so have a look at this. This backrest is slightly tricky, so pay attention over here, and once I'm completed with the backrest, if you're having any problems, then come back, rewind the recording and come back and see the entire video again. Now let's see how we can create the backrest. First thing I would like to do is I'd like to first obviously come in the center over here. Now as you guys can see, getting the center point might become a little difficult, or we can come from the circumference over here and come to the center. But once I've received the center, I need to actually make a line now along the red direction. So I'll make one line on the right hand side and then one hand on the left hand side, and I'll erase this unwanted line. Now the reason we have made this is so that when we make the backrest, it is always facing the red direction. So you'll understand why this is going to help us in just a minute. So all of y'all pay attention. I will now select the arc over here, which is the 2-point arc, making sure it's at 50 sides, so it's a smooth, or even at 90 sides, so it's a very smooth arc. And from this point to this point, I will first select both the points and then I will create this curve. Right, and this curve is going to be set along this edge of the circle as such, like that. Now once I've created this curve, I will select the rectangle command, and I need to make now an upright rectangle which I can edit to make into my backrest. So for creating an upright rectangle, I'll first change the axis. So here the green axis will work very well, and I'll go along the lengthwise direction. So I'll take it at let's say 0.03, 0.45. So you'll see how I've created this 0.45 by 0.03 rectangle upright. Once this is done, I can erase this line off from here. Select this curve. Now remember, we have made a curve over here, so that curve will get selected. Then use follow me and just click on this surface. So automatically you will have like a basic backrest. So this is a very basic backrest, but we want something a little bit more stylish, something which goes with those slender legs that we have created. So let's see what we can do for that. The first thing we'd like to do is we'd like to give a slope to this entire portion. Okay, so how are we going to give a slope to this? I'm going to first triple click on the backrest and make it into a group like this. Alright, then make the whole thing into a group, but before I make the whole thing into a group, I'll just move this a little bit behind or a little bit in front, depending on how far you are away from the red line. Now I can select the rotated rectangle and just make a length like this, and kind of just make this rectangle in such a way so that it is going to cut through this through the backrest basically. So you can see something like this. Now you can see that it's cutting through this circle, okay, but it's completely okay. I'll tell you why. Because now I'm going to explode this backrest. So right click and explode. So I've exploded the backrest, and you can see the whole backrest is still selected, correct? Now what we want to do is, once this whole backrest is selected, and let's say if it's not selected also, we will do 1, 2 and 3 clicks so the whole backrest gets selected. Then I'm going to hold control, and using the selector tool only, I will double click on this surface as well. So what will happen is, not only the backrest but even the surface will get selected, correct? Now once everything is selected, I will do a right click and intersect faces with selection. Now what this is going to basically do is, it's going to create this line over here, as you guys can see. And I will now quickly go ahead and erase the rest of the surface off as such. And you guys will see how this line is now created. Now I can easily just use my selection tool, and making sure that I do not touch the base, I only touch the top portion, I can select the entire top portion like this and press the delete button to actually go ahead and create something like this. So you can see how awesome this looks, and so easily we have created this kind of a chair. It didn't take much time also, and we were easily able to create this chair. But yet we are not done. Yet we have different kind of creations, different kind of editings and different kinds of details that we can provide to this chair. Let's just have a look at this. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to select this whole chair and kind of copy it into two different portions over here. So one, I'm going to leave it the way it is, and the other two I will edit it slightly. So very simple editing. All we need to do once is take an arc, and I will just take the 2-point arc from here and 1 point over here and 1 point in this end, and kind of just make this curve over here. Alright, now we have to make sure that the curve that we are making over here is not too much, or it's not going outside the entire surface like this. It's always inside only, alright? So you can see a kind of curve that I've made over here, very standard. Select this edge, making sure that the entire edge is selected, alright? The entire edge should be selected. I will use follow me and I will select the behind portion of this angle, and I can erase this off, and you guys will notice how I've created this different kind of a backrest for this chest. You can see automatically the difference is quite drastic over here. But now the next thing we're going to do is going to be a little different as well. Here what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and use the line tool itself to create one line like this, and then one line something like this. So just a kind of a random kind of a pointed edge we'll create. I'll select this curve, then follow me, and I'll click again on the back portion, but not this, but the back portion. And automatically you will see how if I erase this portion off and this portion off, we kind of have something like this created. Now before I erase this portion off, just notice that if you have something like this which is restricting it to be made properly, what we can do is we can just repeat a line on top of this. Automatically it will start to remember that it has a line over here, and when I erase this, you will see how clean it becomes then. So these are some things which can happen in Sketchup itself, and you guys should be able to solve it on your own as well if it ever happens. Now once I'm done with this, the last thing I can do is with this backrest, I can just kind of pull this down somewhat like this, so that this is the kind of backrest that I have here. There's one kind of here, and there's one more over here. So these are three different backrests that we can easily create in this Sketchup furniture topic. Alright guys, now I will be using the bucket tool over here to just go on and give some material. So I'll select from here, I'll go to fabrics. I can select maybe this blue color fabric and just kind of give it over here. But again, can you see it's giving single? So when we want to give the whole thing, what do? We press Control and give it correct like this. Now I want to give material here, but since the legs as well as the base are in one layer itself, I will double click and enter into this. And now I can select wood over here, and I can just give wood to my legs. Okay, but if you see, if I've given wood to these legs, none of these have gotten wood. So what I can do is I can double click and enter into one of these components, press Control and give wood. Automatically all of them will get a wood because they are a component. So that's something which helps us a lot while we are making components. And over here I'll just give wood to this as well, a little darker wood. Again, enter into this darker wood, enter into this and darker wood. And automatically you'll see these are the kind of chairs that we have created by using Sketchup. If you guys are getting stuck anywhere, please rewind and view this. Finish each topic off easily and smoothly, and then only come on to the next topic. Okay guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next topic. Take care.